What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So Detroit Pro prejudging is done and dusted. So first of all, let's talk about the big boys. So my first impression, what the hell did William Bonac did in the past 4 weeks? From the Arnold to Detroit Pro, his quads are looking jaw-dropping here. Unbelievable size and the width for a guy who was being criticized. That his quads are melting away, and a guy who was supposed to retire like 1.5 years ago. I must say this is probably the best William Bonac has looked in the past couple of years, or I'm gonna say 2 years. And the moment William Bonac stepped on the stage with the first group, it was kind of over. That is how powerful he looked, and that is how insane he was at the prejudging tonight. And yes, I know William Bonac doesn't have the smallest waistline out there in this lineup, but he makes up for that with the density and that unreal quality that he brings to the stage every single time. Now for those of you guys who do not know, William Bonac is 42 years old, and to be able to bring his quads back to looking like the way they were in his prime, and that too at the tail end of his career, that is so unprecedented, especially in the recent bodybuilding history. Now people are saying this could be William Bonac's last year as a competitive pro, but if he keeps on improving like that, there are zero reasons for him to consider retirement, and he might pull out a Dexter Jackson here, and the man can just keep on competing. Now let's talk about James Hollingshead, who was aiming to bring a much bigger and a harder and a fuller package compared to the Arnold. And safe to say, him and Stefan, they succeeded in doing that. Now he might not be as crisp as he was at the Arnold, but I personally think that this is the look which suits James Hollingshead so much better when he looks full and bubbly and big as a house. So the one thing that was making James look so vulnerable on the stage, that was his midsection. His abs have never been his strong point. But here in Detroit, his midsection was looking totally washed out. And Sazan, he has those rock hard and deep abs. And he was able to expose James Hollingshead in all of those front shots. So Sazan was standing right next to his countryman in that first group. And Sazan looked way more crisp and more conditioned than James Hollingshead. So now let's take a look at the 4-man first call out. William Bonac, Ronald Gordon, James Hollingshead, and Sazan Hiredi. And straight away, you can just see in those first comparisons that it is a fight between William Bonac and Sazan Hiredi for the first place. And although it kind of seemed like that William Bonac is gonna blow everyone away from the first glance, but I have got to say Sazan did win some shots against William Bonac. For example, the front lat spread and the abs and thigh, even the rear lat spread, that looked very close between both these guys. But I do believe that William Bonac has years and years of maturity and that old man muscle quality over Sazan, and it was really showing off in some poses like the back double biceps. Now Ron Gordon, he made it into the first call out, but as aesthetic and as beautiful that physique is, I think, and you guys I believe are gonna agree, that he still needs to fill up his frame in order to beat those thick and dense guys, and especially those top guys. Now that being said, I do believe that Ron was definitely improved compared to last year, as this was the same show that Ron did last year. But still, he needs more size, more mass, to look formidable, especially in a deep lineup. And especially when you have a former Arnold champion standing right next to you. So Carlos Thomas Jr. literally did not post anything from the Arnold to Detroit Pro. And as much as we all want him to succeed, and I'm a big fan of him, and I sincerely want him to succeed, but unfortunately, the conditioning still isn't there just yet. The polish isn't there, and that might not be a diet thing. He just needs more time to mature, to put on more muscle, and attain more muscle quality, especially in his back, and more specifically his upper back. That looks so imbalanced compared to his enormous hamstrings and glutes. And even outside of the top 4, he was being outconditioned by multiple guys. So I do think after this show, he's gonna go back to the drawing board. And he's gonna dive into another off-season. And that can be the right call. Because the thing is, he's either looking at 6th or 7th place, which just isn't a good look for him. So there was no 2-man call-out for the men's open class for the finals. The same 4 guys from the first call-out, they were brought in for the confirmation round. And although the judges did mix things up by putting James Hollingshead in the middle, I still think that William Bonac, he has clearly got this, with Sazan in 2nd place. Now a big shout out to Fuad and the entire team for that super black backdrop and the lighting. As bodybuilding fans, we just wish all the shows They follow his lead because this is what allows all these guys to present their all-time best on the stage. Now let us take a look at Classic Physique. And the battle here, that was special because of the anticipation of the rematch between Wesley Wizards, the former Arnold champion, and Matt Grago, the guy who beat Wesley and placed top 3 at this past Arnold. Now this show was pretty much a decider on who is gonna be the guy to push for the first Olympia call-out later this year or in the future. And as promised, Wesley Wizards came in way better and way fuller compared to the Arnold this year. He knew he was on, and the confidence that was very easily visible in his body language, especially when he came out for his mandatories. And I must say, his squat looked way better compared to the Arnold here, and they had that trademark separation that Wesley Wizards always brings to the stage. But at the same time, they were a lot fuller. And do not even get me started on his upper half, which was looking bursting full. And you guys can just see that every muscle on this guy that was pushing up against the skin, which really made him look so huge on the stage, just the way it did when he won the Arnold last year. Now, all that being said, the discrepancy between his upper and lower body, that is still there, but not as pronounced as it was in the previous showing. Now, this certainly was a big win for Wesley and Stefan, being able to improve in a matter of just 4 weeks. And I tell you what, it seems like he's gonna be fighting for the title and also the Olympia qualification here. And I must say, Wesley here looked more impressive than the time he won the Arnold. In my opinion, this was absolutely the perfect peak for him. Now Matt Grago came into this show as the favorite. His advantage over Wesley is that the man is so balanced, top to bottom, and if you're being really picky here, you can say his upper back could have been more muscular. But other than that, not a single body part on this guy that is out of proportion. Not to mention his muscularity is just so damn insane. So who is more classic between these two guys? Well, that is up for debate for all of you guys. Because the thing is, it is totally subjective. And we all have our definition on what classic really is. So the judges called out 6 guys for the first call out. And no surprise, the Wesley and Matt, they were dead center. So they are number 1 and number 2. Now huge moment for Jack Eagles, who was able to make a very strong comeback. After his last show, where he was very flat, he looked a lot better here. Now this is a fact, that this guy still needs more density and more maturity. But getting in that first call out, with all these great guys, that was such a big win for him tonight. And I have got to say his structure, that really shined here. Just because he was a lot harder and a lot fuller, clearly indicating that he missed his peak in his last show, which by the way was last weekend. So the 2-man final call out, that was obviously between Matt Grago and Wesley, and the judges made them go through 2 rounds. And you have to give credit to Wesley here. He peaked better than Matt Grago here. I guess the only one area where he lost to Matt, that was the lower half, especially in the back double biceps. Other than that, I believe he won majority of the poses. And Wesley here, he looked so big and so wide that his overall size, that was very hard to ignore. And he also had more classic shots to offer. Now Wesley, as you guys already know, he has announced that he's taking the rest of the year off, regardless of the results here. And even if he sticks to his decision, this is such a high note to end your competition season, because he was just unable to present his best at this past Arnold, and this is like a redemption for him. So do let me know what you guys think. Who did you guys have winning, both in the men's open and in classic physique? And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.